All right, so you ready? Okay, so this video is going to be a day, the life of a demo guy, at least in my life. So what we're going to do is we're going to go look at a bunch of jobs. Sanibel. These houses are more or less like right in the middle of on jobs, looking at future jobs, seeing what kind of treasures we might be able to unearth. Today is a day in the times of a demo guy. So we're going to run through a bunch of jobs we're working on Fort Myers Beach. We're going to head over to Sanibel. We're going to look at a couple jobs that we don't know what's in them. We want to see if there's anything worth salvaging. We're going to check in on the 30 unit that we're tearing down, the 16 unit we're tearing down, and then the Strand View and see how the guys are doing. And then we're going to go hit a building that was destroyed. It's on San Carlos Island, which is the island right in front of Fort Myers Beach if you're coming from up north. And then we're going to go over to Sanibel and check out a property that the neighbors are really up in arms. This thing is in rough shape. It's in their HOA is having a cow because nobody's done anything with this one. So they're in a big hurry for it. So we're going to check it out and see if there's anything to salvage on that one. And I'll get back to tailing and we'll make a plan. This morning on the Strand View, we got a semi-trailer put in. We went and bought one, and we're going to take all that stuff that's in good enough condition. We're going to take it to Sarasota. We're going to use it to get our Reuse It Pro's second location up and running, and we're just going to check on the status of the guys. What I got them doing right now is pretty much just pulling windows. We're going to run a pretty large crew. I had our business meeting this morning with all the guys. It's basically our safety meeting. We do it every Thursday, and I talked and I asked how many guys had been working for moving companies. Because when you're working for a moving company, going up and down stairs is nothing. It's just part of the game. So we had about 10 guys that have moving experience, and we're going to use them guys to move most of the furniture out of this place. We also put in an order for about 300 furniture pads so we can pack everything nice and tight and end up in Sarasota with a huge amount of stuff to put on to sell. So here we are. We're going to be turning the corner up here on Buccaneer, and we're going to see how far along they are and what's left. We also have one of our machines, the cylinder broke on it. It's about a $16,000 new part. We were able to find one from an older machine with low hours on it, and the cylinders are in excellent condition, so able to buy that for about $5,500. So that's it. We're pulling into Buccaneer. One day last week I showed up here and someone was in the building on a construction site with sawzall and hammers, and they were scrapping out of here. Which, if you look over here at this building, do you think they should be inside of that scrapping? So we're at a standstill for today on this one. We're bringing a smaller machine back over here, and we'll start tidying up this part of the lot. So this morning at the shop, we were filming a little bit, and what we were filming is all the wire that came off of this building. The wire was in this little compartment that was right here. They grabbed it. There's a big chunk of wire, and they brought it back to the shop, and we were scrapping that this morning. So what's left here is we're about probably, I don't know, 50% done with this. So what we're doing is we're trying to get the C&D out of here first, and then we'll come back and do all the concrete. Right now, because the machine's down for probably 4 days, they'll come in here with the skid steer, and they'll clean up a lot of the mess, and it'll just get us further along, because later on we're gonna have to do that anyway. So right, this one is coming along. We figured it'd take about a month to tear it down once we got to the point where we were tearing it down. And if you remember this one, we took out the windows, the doors, the kitchens, and we donated all of the furniture stuff and the majority of it. So that's it. Let's go on to the next one. Now we're going down and we're going to look at the Dolphin, which is the 16 unit. That was 16 condos. This one was, I don't remember if it was actually 30 or 28 units. I don't remember, honestly. So, hey, look, there's one of our signs. So when you compare us to other demo companies, you look at their signs, you look at our signs, we purposefully look different than them, and we focus on our Google reviews because we really stand out as far as customer service in this industry. It's a big part of what we do is doing things completely and following through completely. And if there's a problem, not returning calls, you know, responding and figuring out what the problem is and trying to get it fixed. So which is tough, because there's a lot of unreasonableness that goes into business these days. There's a lot of people that don't have any understanding or concept of things that are physically being done. You know, they don't understand because they've never done that kind of work, or they've never been involved in it, or they've never had to solve a problem like that. And the longer we get away from the younger generation, they just don't have any idea. So when people don't understand, then they act out. So a lot of times we're primarily working for general contractors, because the greatest success is there, because they understand all the limitations and all the aggravations and all the different things you got to deal with when you're doing construction type things. There's just stuff that's just basically out of your control the majority of the time. You know, it's funny as I'm watching people leave stuff here. It looks like there's a permit going up there. I wonder if somebody's actually going to tear that one down. We were talking to them. I see the guy with something. You know, that might be a notification that they have to tear it down, that it's condemned. We'll check it out on the way back. So here we are coming up on the Dolphin, and you know, we got a pretty good chunk of this done already. And you see over here, we see Sepio over here, and he's getting our scrap metal ready to be taken back to the shop. So let's go out here and take a look around. Some different things you're seeing here. Colton in his when he's doing stuff, he always leaves a mattress out. He uses the mattress to sweep up when he's not. So a lot of times we'll leave one or two because he wears them out. Over here, you see, this is all scrap metal that will end up back in our shop. That's a piece of copper. Big pipe. Sepio, my favorite employee. So anyway, this is all the concrete that was in that building. We're stockpiling the concrete. And then a certain amount per load instead of based off of the weight of it. Same thing we're doing here as we were doing down the street. Let's get the C&D out of here, construction debris. And they take that back to one dump. And over here, this is all stuff we never bothered to move out because it's all ruined. This is the stuff that we hope that the scrap metal guys will come get, because there's not enough money in it to move it. So they probably will be afraid to come get it because it's on one of our job sites. But if they want that, they can have it. This stuff here, we won't let this stay here overnight. It won't be here, because that's probably $600, $700 worth of stuff right there. So anyway, this one's coming along pretty good. This one has been all over Facebook the whole time we've been working on it. The neighborhood's really excited that this one's getting torn down. I think because it looks so bad. Hey, I'm moving. All right, so we're on to the next one. That right there is a 65-yard dump trailer. and he's using that to haul the C&D to the construction debris dump. And that's what a Sepio does, is he's always on the ground, whatever they need done, he's getting stuff ready for them. And then he's making sure that our scrap metal ends up back to the shop. And then a lot of times he's running dust control, spraying everything, securing things at night, helping repair. So he's their ground guy. He's awesome. I think there's about 200 houses left that need to be torn down. I think there's probably 50 more business size large buildings that need to be torn down still yet. So right now we're going down and we're going to check out the Strand View. The Strand View is actually 7 stories tall. It's got 6 floors of living area. It's right up against the Gulf. It got structural damage to the point where it just wasn't cost effective to repair it. So the owners here have decided that they're just gonna tear the building down, take the insurance money, and then also take whatever they can get out of the land and sell it. I think they have it on the market for the public record. I think it was like $11 million is what they're asking for it. So truly sad to see something this size being torn down. Right up here to the left, we're gonna be hitting the Strand View, and we're gonna run up and just kind of get a status report to see where the guys are. So we're starting to take the windows out here. We've got our semi-trailer that we just bought. We're loading out furniture and all that stuff in the semi-trailer again to take this stuff up to Sarasota. And then the guys are pulling the windows and stuff like that out, and we're just gonna leave those here. So I'm gonna get out, open up the gate, and we'll pull inside and go check out the status of the Strand View. I had them working on pulling out, you see this up here? I have them pulling out. See all that? That's all copper. So yesterday all they did was cut out all the copper in just this one area. Okay, this back here, there's all things he's gonna cut off and we're gonna pull out. So that's it. Let's go up and see how they're coming. I'll get the windows out of here. So this one, I'm really excited about the fact that we talked about how to move all this stuff to Sarasota. We were going to do a 24-foot box van. This makes more sense because this will be one load. And then I'm going to put reuse it pros all the way down the side of that, and it's going to sit on a lot, and it's going to be large and recharged. So when we get to Sarasota, we'll leave it sit there until they make us move it. Yesterday when the guys showed up, there were some people in the building, and they slept here that night. This was 2 nights ago. Okay, we had seen, Angie had actually seen
canned goods.
Yeah, when she was cleaning this out, she's been over here working on cleaning this out and getting the eBayable stuff and the stuff we can use for our Airbnbs and the lists and the mark out stuff that we want to take. So when she was here, what did you say you noticed?
A lot of the canned goods were open, and some was ate out of the fruit.
So they basically are opening up the canned goods and eating here, and they're homeless or whatever. And personally, I don't really have an issue with homeless people. Here's the problem. In a building like this, there are parts of this building you just don't want to be in, and you definitely don't want to be in the block at night. So there are parts of this now. We have taken those parts and we have secured them so you can't get into them. But at the same time, the homeless doesn't know that. He might jerk this board off, walk in this room, and fall right through the floor. So that's why. So what I ended up doing yesterday, I found that out. We had some signs at the shop that make this a felony construction site. So it puts the pressure on them that if they get caught, they're going to get a felony. So these are things you do, not because you want to do them. They're a huge waste of time. The signs are expensive, but you don't want people to get hurt. So let's go up here and check out this and see how these guys are coming along. So yesterday was a big day for us because we spent the time to get one window out. Once we get one window out, it gives us an idea of what we got to do to get the windows out. So we got one out. Now it's He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That quick. So now it speeds up. Now he knows what he's dealing with. You take the first one out really slow because you don't want to damage it. Okay? So that's where we're at on this building. I want to change your direction. I want you to go to the top floor. Okay? And I want to change your direction one more way. I want you to do the sliders first. Slide it. Go to the top floor. Take the sliders out first. So yesterday we took in guys. It took them most of the day to get 4 windows out. Today, there's 2 there. There's 2 here. This is going to my house. It's going to be my place to set all our cameras and stuff on while they're charging. And, so what he's doing here, he's getting ahead of Gene, and he's opening up the clock and getting these things ready for Gene, so all Gene's got to do is pull them out. The status on this one, look down there at our trailer. We had to run the generator because we got no power. That semi is going to be completely full of stuff that would normally just be torn down and left in a building like this. So when we bid this job out, we took this into account that we would end up with all these windows. So these windows here, these are 3-door slider windows. They're not very old, and that's a hidden treasure. That's something that, you know, when we did the job, you know, we sold on the fact that we're going to repurpose a lot of stuff and not just throw it away. So when I'm talking about the homeless people, that door and that door down there, if they slide behind those doors and go into those units in the dark, they could fall through the floor. So, okay, the next one, we may have to take a sledgehammer to it. I've got a sledgehammer. Yay! And I've got a pry bar, and I got a small sledgehammer, and we may get to beat some shit out of them, which is personally one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so when I showed up, I did my bike ride this morning. All these boxes right here that they're building this house with, they were all sitting in this parking lot. So these right here, this is a 4-box modular building that they're putting up. Basically, their modular homes were all sitting on that parking lot, and now they're already a house. Now it'll take them a month or 2 months to put everything together inside, but those things come about 80% or 90% complete. We're going to be tearing this one down here shortly, and possibly these as well. So kind of a rainy day here, and a lot of construction going on. That's good. That's good news. The building that we're tearing down right now, that we're going to go through, he owns this one too. So we're hoping that we'll end up getting that one to tear down as well. This right here was the command center for the sheriff department, and they moved down the street right next to the Margaritaville. They gave them some free rent down there until they sell that place. So there's a lot of good things going on. A lot of good stuff going on. These guys here, I guess this is going to become a pizza place. So here, this is going to be the future fire station. This right here to the right was the town hall, and I hear that's going to be put up for sale. There's one of our dumpsters. Woohoo! Now this building here looked like nothing was being done. They completely gutted it out, and then all of a sudden now all the windows are back in it. So hopefully they're working inside it. That's the illegal lot that the city put him in a foreclosure situation, and he came and paid some crazy number to the city of back fees. And I guess the clock starts all over again for him. I honestly haven't seen anything on Beach Talk talking about that anymore. I'm not sure what that guy's doing. And the Lanikai again doesn't look like they're occupied yet. I'm sure they're dealing with the same thing that everybody else is dealing with, which is just not enough contractors, and you know, there's just a lot to do, and then trying to meet the criteria that the government has put on them to meet the FEMA rules, the current FEMA rules. Holtz Builders here has a showroom setups here. If you're looking to do something on the island and you need a builder, these guys really, they went all in on that. I know they spent a fortune. It looks amazing. I saw it this morning when they had all the lights on it. So we've done some stuff for them guys. They're sharp guys. I recommend them. They seem like they're really on their game. They made a big commitment to our community here by putting in that showroom, and they're looking for business to do here on the beach. They want to put your stuff back together. So going over the Matanzas Bridge here. It's kind of a rainy day, and we're coming up on this building. And if you look over here to the right where you see those shrimp boats, those shrimp boats were all way up in the mangroves. There were boats everywhere all the way through here after the hurricane. It just made a freaking mess out of everything. There was a trailer park here to the right. There was a trailer park here to the left. They're both gone. It looks like they might be putting it back in as a trailer park. This whole thing is up for sale, and probably for a fortune. Look at this building here. That is the new titty bar. Okay, that's the
Gentlemen's Club.
That's the new titty bar. It's called
Gentlemen's
Vixen's. I'm sure there's people that are thrilled to death that's coming in. So, all right, this building up here to the right, this white building, this is the one that we're going to do the demo on. Now, we bid it from the outside. We haven't been inside of it, so we're going to go get inside and see what we're dealing with. If you see our signage there, we put that up a couple days ago, and I don't know. Let's see what we're doing and see how we can get in this building. Hopefully it won't be too much problem. All right, so
Fun. Easy entrance.
okay, so this was set up as a bar, and you can see in here. Let's see if you can see the water line. But this thing probably had water. The building was probably mostly covered. This is that same gray matter that we talked about before. Angie, do you remember?
Yes.
When we were in our house, when this stuff is wet and it's on tile, it's like ice. When we were walking through our house after the hurricane, we had to hold on to the furniture. We were doing this all the way through. It was very slippery, and it was on everything.
So the question is there anything you've ever had? So far, I would say no.
No, it's terrible though. It's terrible what the hurricane can do. So all this stuff in here is pretty much ruined. Does it stink in here?
No.
All right, well the stink is gone. This gray stuff stunk really bad, but it's been long enough. Okay, now wait a second. We might have some goodies in here. Possibly some goodies. Well, it's not a lot, but we do get these. We get these a lot. So we will get that. We'll take this this table. We're not getting much out of here. There's just not much to it. So looking back in here, you put my light out. There we go. All right, so let's take a good look at this. Yeah. All right, so something like this could probably take a lot of abuse, but you see the rust levels on this stuff. It's not something we want to mess with. Plus, these are going to weigh so much. We got a lot of this stuff after the storm. A lot of people just went out of business, and we cleaned them up and we sold a bunch of it, but there's a lot of it that just got thrown away. Again, this is that gray matter again, and this gray matter right here is still wet. So that just must mean that the water is getting in here from when it rains. So this fire suppression system could be worth some money. Again, not things we really mess with. This hood vent here, that's expensive. And again, we messed with those in the past. I have been able to sell them. It takes forever to sell them, and they're very specialized. And again, we have a space problem, so we only pay so much. Right now I have a piece of glass stuck in my shoe. All right. All right, here is a this is a walk-in cooler. Hey, Ann,
But
look at this.
nice.
That.
How did that end up in there?
All right, so there's all kinds of stuff in there. Really not stuff we're gonna mess with. It's stuff we don't have track records with. We just don't want to spend the time. So, not a big fat zero, but pretty close. More toilet paper. All right, we'll take this with us though.
That's cool.
It's expensive. Anything that's nautical is expensive. All right, you ready? Okay, that was totally destructive. Taylor wants me to go look at this job. We're gonna go check it out and see what we're getting into. So this is 224. Okay, so Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach pretty much took this hurricane, took the direct hit from it. Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach will never be the same. There's so many of the buildings that were framed, they were historic, they were the character of these islands. They were, made it look like kind of Key West-ish, if you like Key West. So all that stuff, pretty much it's all gone. If you want to rebuild that kind of stuff, it's difficult because of this FEMA rule. It's called the 50% rule, and they won't allow you to rebuild a lot of things. So what they're doing with the FEMA rules is they're trying not to pay out over and over and over every time a storm hits. And these storms do hit. The loss of life between these two islands is very significant, and that comes from people who have been here for a long time. I've been here since 2003. These hurricanes, even the nasty ones that you get hit by, they don't hit you this hard. So what happened here and the loss of life is because of all the close calls where you're thinking, you know what, I left 10 times before and every time nothing hit and I look like a fool. So that's what happens. So this situation here, when we're going across the bridge here, it actually washed out part of this bridge. And thank you, Governor DeSantis, for getting everybody on it so quick, because they were afraid that they were going to have to service everything that they were going to do out there by barges and by ferries, which don't exist here. We don't have them. Fortunately, they jumped right on it and they got that put back together. So we are doing a lot of stuff on Fort Myers Beach. We are doing a fair amount of stuff on Sanibel. There are so many buildings that need to be torn down. There's so many of these condominium associations that the buildings are damaged to the point where the insurance money is not enough to put the buildings back together. Couple that with the fact that you have to update the elevators and the electric and the roofs and the fire suppression systems. And it also knocked out the plumbing and stuff like that. You don't have to update that stuff the same way. But all that stuff is just the amount of money it takes to do it is it's just very, very, very expensive. So it's making it to the point where it doesn't make any sense to rebuild a lot of the things that are out here. And a lot of the condominium associations, they realized that if they did do an assessment, and they did take the FEMA loans that they can get, that the payments that they'll have to make on their through their HOA fees are going to be so big that it's not going to make it just doesn't make any sense. I heard of one last week. Their condominium association fees went from $700 to $1,200 a month. And for a $500,000 or $600,000 or $700,000 condo, that's just too much. People are just not going to pay that. Well, I'm going to say they're going to pay it. It's just going to affect the value of the property. So now the property's not going to be worth much. So over here, what they're doing is they are putting in riprap. Riprap is designed to keep the sea from eroding the sand when these hurricanes come in. Because what happens is parts of Fort Myers Beach was completely reshaped from the hurricane, and it took out a significant part of Fort Myers Beach. So all these little things you see here right to the right, that's riprap in Mylar. And that stuff is designed to keep this from getting... So what happened when the hurricane hit, it washed out this end of this bridge. It washed the whole thing out, all the sand and everything. So they had to rebuild it. So they rebuilt it temporarily, and then they brought in some heavy repair people, and they spent about a year and a half. It looks like they're mostly done here, and they put a bunch of stuff back. So they call this beach renourishment right here. Now what they're doing right there is they're putting rocks in. They're putting in more containment to keep the sand from getting washed away after these storms. This over here to the right was not this big before. They call it beach renourishment. What they do is they're bringing in sand like crazy, and they're building it back out. What they're probably going to do here is they're going to make this a park area. This whole thing has been a park area for the longest time, and they're going to make it more accessible and bigger and have parking areas and stuff like that, and just make it more tourist friendly, which is what Florida does. This is the only way to get on and off of Sanibel. There's just one way on and off of Sanibel. Fort Myers Beach, you can get off the south end, you can get off the north end. If you notice over here, you see the white caps coming up. This is just a little mild, windy day, but them white caps, they move sand around. I've heard people talk about the shifting sands of the beach, and living on the beach as long as I have, you see all these jetties. These jetties are designed to knock down the brunt of the storms and keep it from pounding and washing away all of the sand. But what happens, these mats, they're doing the same thing with the mats. They're putting them on the edges of the sand to keep the sand from washing away. So Sanibel, when Irma came through, and Charlie came through, there was a canopy that you drove under all the way through Sanibel, and it was a bunch of oak trees, and you almost were going through this big tree tunnel, and that between the four hurricanes that since Charlie, it's all gone. Now we're actually on the island. This unlicensed contracting stuff is a problem.
In 0.3 miles, turn right.
I'll give you an example of that. There's been several houses that were torn down by a FEMA contractor, and he was gone. And once they went to rebuild, they had to bring in guys like me to finish the job, because they didn't take out the whole foundation. So they ended up with a big extra expense after. So you hire somebody, have them come in to do your pilings, and they start to do the pilings, and they run into concrete. So then they pull off. Now you've waited for them for a month or a month and a half to get them, or 3 months, or whatever it takes. They finally show up, they pull off because they can't put stuff through concrete. So then you got to wait to get somebody to come out and bid, taking out the rest of the stuff. Then you got to wait for them to get back on these guys' schedule, and then we'll put you back on the schedule till they know that stuff's out of the way. And it creates a problem, and it's not cool. And a lot of times, $10,000, $15,000 of additional expense, because once that piling guy shows up and he has to pack up and leave, well, he's charging you a trip charge. And what does it cost to move a big machine like that and to get started? It's not cheap. And then you got to pay someone else to come out and dig your foundation out and haul it away. So that's what happens when you get these guys that are coming in from other counties and stuff like that, and they're using somebody's license or whatever. So at any rate, this is another demo company here pulling stuff out between us and I think there's 4 bigger companies. We're doing the majority of the demos, and there's still a lot that needs to be done. So we're about 3.5 miles from this job, and this is just an ordinary house. Dylan wants me to go. A lot of these he just bids them out from the outside. You don't have the time. He's running pretty hard, and he'll have me go look at them to see if I want to mess with anything in there based off of our current workload and what we're doing. I mean, like right now we're doing that 7-story building, and we got 100 windows to take out, and those are all 100 windows that are not very old. So this is going to have to be probably something pretty nice for us to mess with it. Or we'll send out a different crew and have them do it on a Saturday or a couple of Saturdays. So this particular house has been a problem. The HOA is losing their minds over it. They want this thing torn down. They don't want the liability of it. They're jumping up and down, screaming and yelling. So we tore the house down behind this 7-Eleven. That was a low-income housing 6-plex. That was, about a year ago. So when you're in the demo business, you got to see what guys are doing, see what the status of things are, just to make sure you're not forgetting something or they're not doing something that could get them hurt. You're evaluating what you're doing and how long it's taking. You're looking for things that might be worth taking out, and just really the general status of things. You're kind of sort of checking up on your guys and making sure that they're not disappearing during the day and things like that. The way we work this with our hands-on crews is they show up at the job, they show up to the office in the morning, and we unload our trucks. A lot of times we have 10 trucks we're going to unload. Then what we're going to do, we're going to work on our scrap metal and other things at the same time. Then they're all, as a group, they're going to go down to Racetrack gas station at the end of our street, and they go get what they need for the day, because we don't pull off during the day. You learn that there's a tremendous amount of effort that gets lost when your guys disappear for an hour to 2 hours at lunchtime in the construction business. If you want to get stuff done, especially when you're dealing with the situations where we're working in these big high rises and stuff, you want to get your location, your place for your dump truck, your dump trailer, to make sure that you got the shortest run to your to get to your debris out of the unit, and you don't want your guys disappearing during the day. It just doesn't work out well. So when we do that, they bring their lunch. They obviously don't get they eat for 20, 30 minutes, whatever it takes, and they get paid for that. So that's the benefit there. And then ultimately we get more done in a day. The contractors love us more. We're in and out of these jobs a lot faster than our competitors, and that's pretty much how we do things, and it makes a big difference in what you get done in a day. We pay well, and we pay incentives, and the guys get a show-up bonus every week if they show up every day that they're supposed to, and stay the whole complete day. So those are the things that make us different. I think people really like the fact that we communicate, show up when we say. If there's a problem, we address it, and we get the jobs completely done. So we have a really cool culture, a bunch of guys, and we don't put up with the slackers. So if somebody's not doing his fair share, the crew just says, hey, this guy's not doing his job, and we talk to him, we try him on another crew, make sure it's not a personality conflict, and then we shake his hand and say, hey, sorry, this ain't working out. We're not mad at you, we don't dislike you, we just can't have you not doing your fair share, because if you don't do your fair share, the other guys have to do your work, and you're getting paid for it, and they don't want to put up with that, and neither do we. So what happens is, after a while, you get a pretty good group of guys. A lot of guys are entry-level contracting guys. They're just learning how to do stuff, and we work closely with them. In 1 or 2 years, they're running crews, because there's a lot of room for growth here. We bid that one out. I guess you can't get them all, huh? So look at this neighborhood. Isn't this something? So obviously it's this house here. So the hurricane, it took part of this house apart, and then it really Really messed it up, and now I see why the HOA is having a cow about this house. All right, let's go check it out. Let's see what we got to deal with. When you're dealing with Sanibel, these houses are more or less like right in the middle of a preserve. A lot of the Sanibel has been bought up by wealthy people and donated to the city. So you see all this wetlands right here. This stuff right here, when we pulled up, there were tropical birds in there. When you look way back there, that is a part of the Sanibel that is protected. And you're literally got like a nice street right in the middle of a preserve. So let's go check this thing out. So this is what it looks like inside downstairs. All right, let me go up it first and make sure it's not going to fall down. All right, good. We're good. This is solid. All right, so now we get to figure out how to get in.
Looked like it was coming.
Yeah. It's jammed on the bottom.
Hudson, come here. Hold his camera. This is for ready? Okay, go down, run back to my truck and grab my crowbar.
Okay.
Here, and we're gonna break that pin at the bottom.
That's what it is. Oh, it's attached by the handles.
Yeah. All good. We're in.
Oh.
All right, so it smells bad in here, don't it?
A little musty.
Those things. What a nice house. So this is a nice little condominium HOA. Not happy that this thing has not been touched yet. And Taylor sent me over here just to see if there's anything in here that we can do anything. You see this was tied by this rope. Okay, so there you go. Getting in the true scavenger mode.
There's a chairlift over there.
Yeah. So what is Baba Energy?
I don't know. There's lots of it and lots of water.
They got so much of it.
All right, so looking in here, what do I see? Not really much for us to mess with. Not with what we've got going on. If we didn't have the high rise to deal with, we might deal with these windows here. But those windows are usually 15 years old. So let's walk back through here. What you looking for, Ange?
Bunch of goodies.
Yeah. You see anything worth messing with?
Here's an iron.
Well, you know, you got to get an iron.
Some Hershey's chocolate.
Some canned goods.
All right, so let's look back in here. So a lot of this is just trash, this whole building. The hurricane took like half the building and destroyed it. So this is what you're looking at. So this part of the island, the hurricane actually took part of this building apart. You don't see a lot of that in a structure that's this old. So this was probably built right before the hurricane codes came into play and those weren't strapped. So the hurricane actually beat, the actual wind part of the hurricane beat this apart. we're finding most of the damage that we're seeing has got more to do with the flooding than it does the wind damage. All right, so I'm looking at this vanity, and it's just too low. People don't want them when they're that low, so not something that we want to mess with. The rest of this place, this right here is a chairlift. These are like, you know, $8 grand. Put them in. We have sold parts to these before. Probably wouldn't do it again. It's a lot of work for a little bit of money. So, but we taken them apart, and people buy the parts off of eBay. So this one, I'd say this is a big fat loss. So again, this one was damaged by the wind from the hurricane instead of the flooding. But with everything we got going on, we'll call this a big fat zero. We're not going to mess with anything in here. There are some things in here that could be donated. I don't know what that bava stuff, I don't know how much it is, but there's 20 cases of it. So we'll take one case with us. I don't know if it's worth something, maybe we'll come back and get the rest.
Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of that energy drink, send it to my girlfriend, see if she knows anything about it. Might be rare. Like the main website, they're all out of stock. You cannot buy a single flavor of this stuff.
It's got the Starbucks bava. It's going to be worth it.
Right, it's Starbucks brand.
Yeah, I wonder if it's expired.
Yeah, old. Can't find a price on it. I'm gonna go to shopping. Case is $30.
Okay, well, I'm going down.
Okay, so look over here. So Sanibel is like just a big preserve. Everybody that lives here, they're art people. They are in touch with themselves. They like Mother Nature, and they like the fact that things aren't so commercialized here. And that is Sanibel. So right here, they built this around. That was a lake. They didn't dig that lake out. That is, a lake was here. And that's an island that was here. And they built these houses around it. And they didn't bring the elevation up. This is marshy land. So they did that on purpose. Now, a lot of this out here in the front, this is still, technically, it is a neighborhood. A little bit further over is Ding Darling, which is a gigantic preserve. And it's a really cool place you can drive your car around. And if you look at this yard here, it's manicured a little bit, but it's not manicured in the way you would manicure something in Naples. Now, that right there is probably a $5 million house. Okay, so this house was probably just as amazing as that house. These houses were probably built, I'm thinking they were built in the 90s or maybe possibly the 80s. And the reason I say that is the building came apart. The reason the building came apart is there are these things that they install now. This is a little tiny one, but that's a strap. What they make you put in nowadays, they're hurricane straps. When they strap a building together, these hurricane straps are about this long and they're real thick, and you can't pull them apart. So, and you put like 20 screws in every one, and it'll hold together a frame building. So a big old hurricane might make the building move around a little bit, but it's not going to tear it apart. Usually 150 mile per hour winds. So the code was put together that way. So this is freaking amazing. This seems like this is the only house that got catastrophic damage in this area, because there's no missing houses. I don't see any vacant lots. So this one, maybe somebody didn't put as many screws in as they should have. So, but this is beautiful. It's a shame. These windows here, the fact that they have this on it tells me that these are not hurricane windows. These are probably 15-year-old windows, probably single pane. And then our only thing that we're getting here is this Bava Energy. And do you see? It's got the Starbucks logo on it. Anything that's got a Starbucks logo on it is wildly expensive. So, are these expired? I don't think they will be. It's only been a year and a half since the hurricane. So anyway, that's it. That's all we found. Anything we're messing with. Although there are 15 more cases of these. We're going to take these and donate them to our camera guy. He looks real excited about them when you look at these. He's going to give them to his girlfriend, I think. So we drove up here, anticipation. We're excited, thinking we might be able to get something really cool. And big fat zero on this one. The only thing we found was energy drinks. And very happy people seeing my demo truck here. The HOA here is, if you look up and down the street, look at how nicely manicured everything is. This is a very beautiful neighborhood. And then they got this turd. I mean, I'm sorry what happened to you. I got hit myself, whoever owns this. But anyway, we're going to tear it down here shortly. And really the only thing we got out of here is these energy drinks and some water. The rest of it, it's just nothing in there that's worth messing with, and anything that was worth messing with is gone. If you see the hurricane shutters on the whole outside of the house, that means they weren't hurricane windows. We got that big 7-story job going on Fort Myers Beach. It's just going to take a bunch of our time up getting all those windows and furniture, everything out of that. So anyway, it's Remove It Pro's Demolition, and this was a typical day for me. Okay, running around.
Hey, what's up?
All right, so I went out here and looked at this one on Sanibel. It's a big fat zero.
Okay.
It's a turd. I mean, the
Okay.
the HVAC system might be worth something, but the rest of it, the house is just destroyed.
Okay.
So if you like Bava energy drinks, well, there's 15 cases of them.
No, I don't.
Other than that, I don't see anything in there worth messing with.
Okay.
So just send them out whenever you're ready.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Oh boy, I bet there's people in
Fix
right here.
Get in hot.
Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe and leave us a like. I will see you on the next video.